In the headlines, bandits release abducted Kaduna Polytechnic lecturer, hold on to daughter. Federal government suspends accountant general indefinitely. Normalcy restored in Day community after clash in Abuja. U.S. President Joe Biden endorses Sweden, Finland NATO bid. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Zainab Bala. Hello and welcome. A lecturer of Kaduna Polytechnic, Dr. Ramatu Abarshi, who was abducted alongside her daughter and driver 3 weeks ago, has regained freedom. Admin officer of Barkin Rahama initiative founded by Dr. Abarshi Abdullah confirmed the release of the lecturer. He said after she regained freedom on Tuesday evening, she was taken to an undisclosed hospital for medical checkup. Abdullahi disclosed that she was freed after negotiations with the kidnappers, but he failed to state where the ransom was paid to rescue her to secure her release. Recall that the victims were abducted on Kachia Kaduna Road while returning from a charity mission. The Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, has been suspended indefinitely. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, announced the suspension on Wednesday. This is coming 2 days after the AGF's arrest by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, over an alleged 80 billion naira fraud. EFCC spokesman Wilson Uwojering had confirmed Idris's arrest on Monday. He was arrested after he failed to honor invitations by the EFCC. The anti-graft agency stated that Idris allegedly diverted funds and laundered 80 billion naira. Now, normalcy has been restored in Day community of Abuja Municipal Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory with the presence of security operatives. This followed a fracas between traders and motorcycle operators on Wednesday. Trust TV's Aisha Sali visited the community and now reports.
Clash between Okada riders and traders in Day Building Material Market located in the community along Kubwa-Zuba Expressway of the Federal Capital Territory on Wednesday morning. Security operatives were deployed to arrest the situation. The Joint Task Force involved operatives of the military, the police and the vigilante group.
Actually, as I speak to you now, even me, I don't even know the main key point that is happening. But for I just have to say because of ask them. It's from there now I live. There are no in fact now we are already clear the place now. Okay. But nothing now unless I don't even know as we leave that place now. Because only we vigilante and police we cannot stop these guys to do whatever they want. And as a soldier come, it's from there the road is clear. But we have people that it's in the morning. But the major problem is, let's say the soldier they are already reached here early. So this thing not going to happen.
The clash claimed some lives while properties worth millions were lost in the course of the fight. As at press time, shops were still under lock and key as business activities were shut down due to fear of reprisal attacks from the warring parties. However, there is a huge presence of security personnel in and outside the community.
Two ministers who backtracked from pursuing their political ambitions were part of the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday. Kehinde Amodu looks at the interesting development in this report.
The refusal of ministers who had political ambitions to resign from cabinet had raised a hue and cry among Nigerians. It took President Buhari laying down the line before the ministers grudgingly complied and left the cabinet. Some left it to the very last minute. For instance, Transportation Minister Rotimi Amaechi still inaugurated governing boards of 5 agencies under the ministry on Friday before throwing in the towel on Monday. But even now, one is not certain about how many of the 10 ministers who were supposed to have resigned that are still hanging on to their portfolios. Right from Thursday, when President Buhari held a valedictory session for the departing ministers, some had changed their minds. Information Minister Lai Mohammed, who initially suggested that 10 ministers would be leaving the cabinet, is as confused as many Nigerians.
I think you need to give me more time so that I can tell you exactly what the situation is. Right now, I need to cross-check. I need to confirm again from Mr. President what the situation is. Well, I think, you see, the final decision on who is going, who is coming back, who is not going lies with Mr. President.
Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami was believed to have an interest in running for governor in Kebbi State, but kept Nigerians guessing until time ran out on Monday. He was part of those that were present at the cabinet meeting at the Council Chamber of State House Abuja on Wednesday. On the other hand, Women Affairs Minister Pauline Tallen had indicated that she was vying for a senatorial seat in Plateau State to defend women's rights. She joined virtually. Ironically, Labour Minister Chris Ngige, who was one of the first ministers to publicly distance himself from his presidential ambition, was not cited at the opening session of the cabinet meeting. The drama continues, and if the question of who is running and who is not can only be answered by the president, it will be an interesting watching and waiting game for political pundits in the weeks to come. From State House Abuja, Kehinde Amudu, Trust TV News.
Hundreds of APC members loyal to a former federal lawmaker, Senator Magnus Abbey, on Wednesday stormed the premises of the Rivers State ACP Secretariat, alleging hijack of State Assembly aspirant screening as well as the ward and state delegate selection. Speaking with newsmen, the aggrieved party members said they arrived the Secretariat at about 6 a.m. only to meet the gate on the lock and key. The protesters, who are members of the APC from the 23 local government areas of the state, carried placards with various inscriptions calling on the party's national secretariat to intervene in order to avert what happened to the state party during the 2019 general election. Meanwhile, security agencies who have taken over the party secretariat have restored normalcy. A federal high court sitting in Osogbo has affirmed Senator Ademola Adeleke as the authentic candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the July 16th governorship election in Osun State. Justice Nathaniel Emmanuel made the declaration on Wednesday while delivering a ruling in a suit filed by a factional candidate of the PDP, Prince Dotun Babayemi. Similarly, Prince Dotun Babayemi also emerged as the winner of a parallel exercise held at the Waktif Center, also in the state capital, on March 9th. Bayelsa State Deputy Governor Senator Lawrence Ewu-Jakpo, who chaired the party's National Congress Committee, announced Adeleke winner with 1,887 votes. Senator Ewu-Jakpo was quick to denounce any other poll held outside the state capital stadium. Babayemi went to court to be recognized as the authentic candidate of the party following the parallel primaries. He urged his supporters to put aside any fear over the Independent National Electoral Commission's recognition of Senator Ademola Adeleke as the party's flag bearer. Now, the Federal High Court, Abuja, strikes out newly amended 6-count charge preferred against Nnamdi Kanu by the federal government following the withdrawal of the chair by the federal government. The withdrawal came after Mike Ezekome complained to the court that the prosecution is trying to delay processes by continuous amendment of the charge against his client. Ezekome told the court that this is the 7th time the federal government is amending its charge. Justice Binta Nyako concurred to Ezekome's submission, stating that Kanu is not expected to take plea on those newly amended charges immediately, as he needs time to digest them before doing so. Mardia Omar reports.
The much-awaited date for the bail application hearing of the indigenous people of Biafra's leader, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, is today. But it didn't start without a little bit of drama, as some supporters of the IPOB leader were seen around the court and they were dispersed with tear gas by the security agents who were on ground, gallantly on ground, to make sure that citizens follow law and order in the court premises. That's the Federal High Court premises. Today was set aside for bail application, but according to the Defense Counsel, the government sprang up with a surprise, and this, they say, has happened for the 7th time. In the government's motion, they moved the motion that struck out one charge out of the 7 charges that is still left for the indigenous people of Biafra's leader. Recall that in the last sitting, which happened in the month of April, but the court, presided over by Justice Binta Murtala Inyako, struck out 8 charges out of the 15. So right now, what they are having this storm of issues about in the court today was the fact that this came out in the wee hours of the night, and it didn't give them time to actually serve this to the Defense Counsel. It created a storm quite well in the courtroom. And right now, what is going to happen is that these charges will remain the way it is, because it's going to be 7. And according to the Defense Counsel, he said that if they accept this 6-count charge, it might mean that they will have to go for a new plea, which might not be favorable for them. So the bail application, of course, today has been denied, but not completely denied, because in the wisdom of the court, they have to sit again and listen to the full story why Nnamdi Kanu skipped trial in the year 2017. And until they hear the whole story, they cannot make a decision. But the date, the story continues, or the court sitting continues, or stayed adjourned to the 26th of May 2022. Martia Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
There you go. You're watching Trust TV News Update. Coming up, Katsina government pledges to address issues around water supply. Stay with us.
Daily, we bring you updates around politics.
People like you who are very young, you have no future. Anybody now who is 30 years, if what is happening to the continues, by the time you are 60, you will have no country.
The DPO of a particular unit does not have to wait until the commissioner tells him what to do within his jurisdiction.
We have political parties on the ground. Some of them have been there for years. But they themselves, in their own sober moments, they know that this country is not the one they're expecting to run.
Policy and governance.
Are you saying the NBS is lying?
I'm saying to you very clearly that the NBS has a serious problem with accurate data till today.
The 5th Assembly, as well as the 7th Assembly, their own attempt were unproductive.
Emergence of the Taliban has simply emboldened terror groups globally.
There is a lot of attention with regards to security developments in Nigeria.
On Daily Politics, we interrogate issues, holding the actors to account, bearing in mind all the sides.
We heard that in some places now, people have to go and pay tax, not to the local government, not to the state, but to criminals.
Nobody can come to your house and kidnap you without information.
If this country is bleeding, it is bleeding because we have failed to educate our young.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Trust TV News Update and top stories. Bandits release abducted Kaduna Polytechnic lecturer hold on to daughter. Federal government suspends accountant general indefinitely. Still ahead, Governor of Lagos State Babajide Sanwo-Olu has banned the operation of commercial motorcyclists, popularly known as Okada, in some local governments in Lagos State. Governor Sanwo-Olu issued the ban on Wednesday while speaking with DPOs and area commanders across the state at the Lagos House in Ikeja. The ban takes effect from the 1st of June 2022 in the whole of Ikeja, Surulere, Etiosa, Lagos Mainland, Lagos Island and Apapa local government areas. The governor said other security agencies would join in the enforcement.
The whole of Ikeja local government, the whole of Surulere local government, the whole of Etiosa local government, the whole of Mainland local government, the whole of Apapa local government and the whole of Lagos Island local government. A total ban. A total ban on this and all of them 1st of June. This is the phase planning that we're going to be embarking on, so that others know that within a short while, it's either they get out or for something else to do. And from 1st of June, there are LCDs that are underneath them. We're going to publish them. We're going to list all of them. And so we're given the notice now, right, where you can begin to do your recce, begin to do, your strategy. From the 1st of June, please to want all of the Okada to be completely off this major road. Let people begin to.
Elsewhere, the acute water shortage facing the ancient city of Katsina and its environs may soon be over following rehabilitation, upgrading and total overhaul of Ajua Waterworks. Residents of the state capital and some surrounding towns as well as villages have been suffering from persistent water shortage since the beginning of the project. When Trust Television visited Ajua Waterworks recently, rehabilitation and upgrading works were at an advanced stage of completion. Abdullahi Ahmadi tells us more.
Ajua Waterworks has never witnessed any form of rehabilitation or upgrading since its construction in 1974, when Katsina was a local government with a population of less than 6,000 people. The waterworks was designed to supply 50 million cubic liters of water to Katsina and villages along the main pipe to the ancient city. With the increasing population, water supply has continued to decline as a result of failure to replace obsolete equipment over time. However, Governor Aminu Bello Masari administration is saying that it is committing over 30 billion naira towards bringing the Ajua Waterworks back to life. The contract is for the rehabilitation of 2 clarifiers, procurement and installation of new electromechanical equipment at the existing Ajua Waterworks. This is in addition to the construction of new and rehabilitation of existing reservoirs at Ajua and Katsina.
The original contract of the Ajua gives birth to about 13 different contracts. That is from the initial contract of 2.17 billion, which is the scope of the contract. It talks about the new treatment plan. Some of the electrical components are modernized components, but today, when the contractor and the consultant opened the entire sector, it needed total overhauling.
To improve quality and ensure uninterrupted water supply, power injection substation is being constructed, while 2 brand new electricity generating sets have been procured to attain optimal utilization of the waterworks upon completion.
The next thing is the spillway expansion of the dam. With the opening of the bridge to be a 2 cars will go, the water channel is going to be expanded. The dam will expand. That's a contract that of over 3.something billion we signed, and we handle the contractor, the site. Now the machine are over. The civil work is over 90%. So now the Katsina State people has future in water.
Another success story is the contract for the water distribution network in Katsina City, hitting about 89% completion stage. Residents of Katsina hold Governor Aminu Bello Masari in high esteem and believe that his being a professional in the field will ensure that they will have enough water for drinking and other domestic purposes before the end of his tenure in 2023. This is the first time I'm hearing this, and if it is true, the government is doing something anywhere to provide lasting solution to acute water shortage in Katsina, we will appreciate it. Our number 1, 2, 3 problems are water shortage.
A irin wannan aiki da gwamnati take yi,
The project is long overdue. People have been suffering in silence, and this is one project that has been underreported. Solving our water problem in Katsina is like giving us a new lease of life. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Fresh from the resolution of its face-off with Twitter, the federal government has met with officials of Facebook expressing its displeasure over content on the social media platform. Minister of Information said the Nigerian government was concerned that Facebook was becoming a platform of choice for those who were inciting violence in Nigeria from outside the country. Mohammed gave details of the meeting on a day the Federal Executive Council approved the reconstruction of the 234-kilometer Bali to Sherti Road in Taraba State at the sum of over 95 billion naira. Kaindi Amodu reports.
The Buhari administration continues to press forward with its agenda of regulating social media. The champion of the crusade, Information Minister Lai Mohammed, says content on Facebook has incited burning of government property, killing of soldiers and policemen. He is therefore asking the platform to do more to regulate some of its unwholesome contents. So is a ban on Facebook in the offing?
Facebook saw our point and they said they are going to do much more than what they are doing. So if they do that, why would we ban them? We don't ban for banning's sake. We would only suspend operations if, for any reason, security lives are threatened and they do not listen.
Meanwhile, the federal government aims to reconstruct the Bali to Shetty Road in Taraba State at a sum of over 95 billion naira through its tax credit program.
The existing road, for those who are familiar with it, has no concrete stone base. So it's just laterite and the asphalt. So it doesn't last and is breaking up and leading to potholes. So we've re-awarded this now for reconstruction under the tax credit scheme. There's a 20 billion naira provision under the NMPC tax credit scheme that will be used to kickstart this immediately.
Similarly, the Alkeri Futuk Road in Bauchi, which was awarded a few years back, has encountered some funding challenges arising from insufficient budgetary provisions.
So we have collaborated with the Northeast Development Commission, NEDC, and out of some of the funding available to them, they have provided about 2.83 billion to undertake the construction of major hydraulics, which are parts of the total project. And therefore, this will help first deal with the foundational base of the road, about 16 culverts.
Also on Wednesday, the Cabinet reviewed the contract sum for the construction of the Yola Song Gombe Mubi Gulako 132 kV double-circuit transmission line by an additional 1.09 billion naira. From State House Abuja, Kainde Amodu, Trust TV News.
Now, the Food and Agriculture Organization has urged states to prioritize agriculture in order to boost food production to tackle food insecurity in Nigeria. The organization made the disclosure at a 3-week training of facilitators of Farmer Field School in Maiduguri. The report.
The Farmer Field School approach is to empower smallholder farmers and rural communities to understand and respond to present challenges. It is also aimed at making contributions in ensuring food and nutrition security for all and building resilience to climate change. The 51 farmer field facilitators drawn from 5 states, which include Taraba, Borno, Yobe, Sokoto, and Adamawa, will be involved in coordinating the farm groups and facilitation of the learning process as competent training masters.
You know that in the Northeast, that has been somehow destroyed by the crisis, the insurgency, where the extension services have suffered a lot. What next is to support also the backstopping the support also those who have been trained here to provide them with necessary support in order to implement what they have gained here.
For long, our farmers were not trained well. Sometimes they even forgot, because of the insurgency, they even forget what is happening in the field. So this training will color their practices, agricultural practices, so that they will adopt the new innovation that will be provided by the training.
Some participants described the training as timely and are willing to acquire the innovative techniques and play their roles as expected.
It's a commendable feat because we need a lot of this exposure, and I think we keep reminding ourselves that this is something we should do so that our farming system will keep, because this is a very big mine. If we are ready to develop on it, and we need to make more money and develop ourselves as individuals.
I believe this training is going to be really helpful. We have our facilitators, they are here, and I am very sure that they will learn a lot from whatever is going to take place as far as this training is concerned. My advice to my colleagues is for them to pay full attention to everything that is going to happen here.
It is expected that after the 3 weeks training, which is funded by the Norwegian government, the Farmer Field School will be a platform for building sustainable production and reduce rural poverty in the Northeast.
U.S. President Joe Biden formally endorsed Finland and Sweden's applications to join NATO on Wednesday, while also issuing a carefully worded warning to Russia that the U.S. would help defend the countries in the interim before they become members of the alliance, covered by its commitment that an attack on one is as attack on all. Finland and Sweden formally asked to join the military alliance earlier on Wednesday, but they need support of all 30 nations in the group, a process that can require diplomatic bargaining. Later on Wednesday, Turkey blocked an initial effort by the alliance to move ahead quickly with their applications. And in sports, Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development has concluded plans to hold the maiden edition of the Under-18 Basketball Championships to ensure more youth participation in the game of basketball. The competition, which targets youths at grassroots, will commence with zonal elimination in the 36 states and the FCT between May 27 to 30th, 2022, with winners and first runners-up emerging from the zones proceeding to Abuja for finals from June 3rd to 80th, 2022. Federal Ministry of Sports says it intends to boost grassroots basketball through the organization of basketball leagues for male and female, development of home-based coaches with coaching clinics, scientific approach to the game of basketball, development of referees in line with international standards, encouragement of basketball academies working with retired Nigerian basketball stars and active professionals, among others. And that's it on News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Zainab Bala. See you in a moment.